some of the foods you believe are healthy are actually making you gain weight? Many people switch to healthy options thinking they're making the right choice. But certain foods that are marketed as nutritious can still be very high in calories, sugar, or hidden ingredients that slow your progress. The result is confusing. You feel like you're eating better, yet the scale doesn't move the way you expected. In this video, we're uncovering healthy foods that might secretly be causing weight gain, and what you should know before adding them to your diet. 1. Granola and granola bars. Granola has a strong health reputation, and that reputation is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Walk into any grocery store, and you will see granola marketed with words like natural, wholesome, and organic. People sprinkle it on yogurt, eat it by the handful as a snack, and feel like they are making a smart choice. But here is the problem. Most store-bought granola is loaded with added sugar, honey, maple syrup, and oils that push the calorie count through the roof. A single cup of granola can easily contain 400 to 600 calories, and the serving size printed on the box is usually just a quarter cup, which almost nobody actually sticks to. Granola bars are even worse in many cases because they are engineered to taste like candy while carrying a health label. The oats inside are real, yes, but by the time manufacturers add chocolate chips, syrups, and binding agents, you are basically eating a dessert bar. If you love granola, make your own at home with minimal sweetener and eat it in measured portions. Otherwise, this so-called health food can easily add hundreds of extra calories to your day without you even realizing it. 2. Fruit juice. Most people think fruit juice is basically liquid fruit, so it must be good for you. That logic makes sense on the surface, but it falls apart once you understand what happens when you remove the fiber from fruit and concentrate the sugar into a drinkable form. When you eat a whole orange, the fiber slows down how quickly the sugar hits your bloodstream. And you also feel fuller because you physically chewed and swallowed something solid. When you drink orange juice, none of that happens. You get a fast flood of sugar, no fiber, very little satiety, and a calorie count that adds up quickly. A single glass of orange juice contains roughly the same amount of sugar as a can of soda, sometimes even more. And because it is liquid, your brain does not register those calories the same way it registers food, meaning you will still feel hungry shortly after. This applies to all fruit juices, including apple juice, grape juice, and even cold-pressed green juices that contain high-sugar fruits. Even 100% pure juice, with no added sugar, still delivers a concentrated sugar hit. Eat your fruit whole and drink water instead. It is one of the simplest swaps that can make a real difference over time. 3. Flavored yogurt. Plain yogurt is genuinely a great food. It is high in protein, good for your gut, and relatively low in calories. But flavored yogurt is a completely different product that just happens to live in the same section of the store. When you pick up a strawberry or vanilla yogurt from the shelf, you are usually getting a small container that contains anywhere from 15 to 28 grams of added sugar. That is more sugar than a glazed donut in some cases. The fruit at the bottom is not real fruit. It is a jam or compote, made mostly from sugar and fruit concentrate. Food companies are allowed to call it fruit yogurt, even when there is barely any actual fruit involved. Low-fat yogurt versions are especially tricky because removing the fat means the product tastes bland. So manufacturers compensate by adding more sugar to make it palatable. Many people eat 2 or 3 of these throughout the day thinking they are being healthy, not realizing they are consuming a dessert-level amount of sugar each time. The fix is simple. Buy plain Greek yogurt, which is high in protein and low in sugar, and add your own fruit or a small drizzle of honey so you are in control of what goes in. 4. Smoothies. Smoothies have become a symbol of healthy living, and a well-made smoothie with the right ingredients can absolutely be good for you. The problem is what most people actually put in them. A typical homemade smoothie or store-bought version contains multiple bananas, cups of mango or pineapple, fruit juice as a base, flavored yogurt, protein powder with added sweeteners, and sometimes peanut butter or honey on top. By the time you blend all of that together, you have created a drink that can contain 700 to 1,000 calories. Because you drank it in 5 minutes, Your body does not register the fullness signal the way it would if you had eaten all of those ingredients separately. Smoothie shops are particularly problematic because their portion sizes are enormous and the recipes are designed to taste incredible, not to keep your calories in check. Even the so-called diet or slim smoothies at many chains still contain hundreds of calories from fruit sugars and sweetened bases. If you want to make smoothies a regular part of your diet, keep them simple. Use mostly vegetables with a small amount of fruit. Add a source of protein. Use water or unsweetened almond milk as your base. And keep the portion to around 300 to 400 calories. Track what you put in at least once so you know what you are actually drinking. 5. Nuts and nut butters. Nuts are one of the healthiest foods on earth. That is not a myth. Almonds, walnuts, cashews, and other nuts are packed with healthy fats, protein, fiber, vitamins, and minerals. They reduce inflammation, support heart health, and provide long-lasting energy. But they are also extremely calorie-dense, and most people eat far more than they should without thinking about it. A single ounce of almonds, which is about 23 almonds, contains 160 calories. Most people grab a handful from the bag without measuring and eat 3 or 4 times that amount in a single sitting. A quarter cup of mixed nuts can be 200 calories, and if you are snacking on them throughout the day while also eating full meals, those calories pile up fast. Nut butters follow the same pattern. Peanut butter and almond butter are nutritious foods, but 2 tablespoons of peanut butter contain around 190 calories, and most people spread far more than 2 tablespoons on their toast or eat it straight from the jar with a spoon. The flavored versions, like honey roasted peanut butter or chocolate almond butter, also add extra sugar on top. Nuts are absolutely worth eating, but portion control is everything here. Measure out a serving, put the bag away, and enjoy them mindfully rather than eating directly from the container. 6. Whole wheat bread and multigrain products. Switching from white bread to whole wheat bread is often one of the first things people do when they decide to eat healthier. The problem is that most whole wheat bread sold in supermarkets is not as different from white bread as the packaging suggests. Many brands use a small amount of whole wheat flour and then fill the rest of the loaf with refined flour, added sugars, preservatives, and artificial flavors. The brown color is sometimes just from molasses or caramel coloring, added to make the bread look hearty. Multigrain is even more misleading. It simply means the bread contains multiple types of grain, but those grains can still be refined and stripped of their fiber and nutrients. Both types of bread can spike blood sugar and insulin levels significantly, especially when eaten in large quantities. Toast with breakfast, a sandwich at lunch, and a dinner roll can easily add up to 4 or more slices of bread in a day. And if each slice contains hidden sugars and refined grains, the calorie and carbohydrate load becomes substantial. To actually get the benefits of whole grain bread, look for products where 100% whole grain or 100% whole wheat is the first ingredient, and the fiber content is at least 3 grams per slice. Better yet, consider reducing bread overall and replacing it with other carbohydrate sources like sweet potatoes, oats, or legumes. 7. Salads with heavy dressings and toppings. Ordering a salad feels like the responsible choice, and a plain salad with vegetables and lean protein genuinely is a great meal. But most restaurant salads and even homemade salads end up being calorie bombs because of everything added on top of the lettuce. A classic Caesar salad at a chain restaurant can contain 800 to 1,200 calories once you account for the creamy dressing, croutons, and extra cheese. A Cobb salad with bacon, cheese, hard-boiled eggs, avocado, and ranch dressing can easily top 1,000 calories. Even seemingly innocent additions like candied walnuts, dried cranberries, crispy noodles, or a generous pour of balsamic glaze can add 200 to 400 extra calories without you thinking twice. Store-bought salad dressings are often the biggest offenders. Just 2 tablespoons of a creamy dressing can contain 150 to 200 calories and more than 15 grams of fat. People typically pour much more than 2 tablespoons. The key to keeping salads genuinely healthy is to be intentional about what goes in them. Use oil and vinegar or lemon juice as your dressing. Add healthy fats like a quarter of an avocado, rather than croutons and cheese, and stick to fresh vegetables and clean proteins. A salad built this way is one of the best meals you can eat. A salad drowning in dressing and toppings is not. 8. Low-fat and fat-free foods. The low-fat diet craze of the 1980s and 1990s left behind a legacy of food products that still confuse people today. When the idea that dietary fat causes weight gain became popular, food manufacturers rushed to create low-fat versions of everything: cookies, chips, salad dressings, dairy products, and more. The problem is that fat is what makes food taste good. When you remove it, the product tastes bland and unsatisfying. So companies replace the fat with sugar, refined starches, artificial flavors, and thickeners to bring the taste back. The end result is a product that is lower in fat, but often higher in sugar and total calories than the original full-fat version. Fat-free salad dressing, for example, frequently contains more sugar than its full-fat counterpart. Low-fat peanut butter adds extra sugar to compensate for the removed fat. Low-fat cookies are still cookies. They just have more sugar and corn syrup instead of butter. Beyond the calorie issue, dietary fat actually plays an important role in keeping you full and satisfied. When you eat a low-fat food that is high in sugar, your blood sugar spikes and crashes quickly, leaving you hungry again soon after. Full-fat versions of natural whole foods like cheese, eggs, and plain yogurt are almost always the better choice because they keep you fuller longer and do not contain the added sugars that come with the low-fat alternatives. 9. Dried fruit. Dried fruit sits in the snack aisle between trail mix and granola bars and carries a reputation as a natural, wholesome snack. And it is true that dried fruit comes from real fruit and contains fiber and micronutrients. But the drying process removes the water from the fruit, which concentrates all the sugar and calories into a much smaller volume. What this means practically is that a small handful of raisins, which might look like not much at all, can contain more sugar and calories than a full cup of fresh grapes. Dried mango, dried cranberries, and dried apricots are particularly high in sugar, and many commercially produced versions also have sugar added on top of the naturally concentrated fruit sugar. The problem is also portion control. Fresh fruit is large and filling because of its water content, so you naturally stop eating after one orange or one apple. Dried fruit is tiny, easy to eat by the handful, and does not fill you up the same way. It is very easy to consume 400 to 500 calories worth of dried fruit in a few minutes without feeling like you ate much. If you enjoy dried fruit, treat it as a garnish rather than a snack. A small sprinkle on oatmeal or in a salad is fine. But reaching for fresh fruit whenever possible is almost always the better option for managing weight. 10. Sports and energy drinks. Sports drinks like Gatorade and Powerade were designed for athletes doing intense exercise for an hour or more. For those athletes, the electrolytes and fast-absorbing carbohydrates serve a real physiological purpose. But for most people who drink them, whether at the gym for a 30-minute workout, with lunch, or just as a casual beverage throughout the day, they are essentially sugar water with food coloring. A 20-ounce bottle of Gatorade contains about 34 grams of sugar and 140 calories. Energy drinks vary widely, but most contain between 25 and 55 grams of sugar per can, and many people drink 2 in a day. Even the drinks marketed as healthy, with names referencing electrolytes, hydration, or natural energy, often contain significant amounts of sugar or artificial sweeteners that can stimulate appetite and mess with your metabolism. Coconut water, which is frequently promoted as a healthy and natural sports drink alternative, still contains a meaningful amount of natural sugar and should not be consumed in large quantities without considering the calorie impact. Unless you are doing serious prolonged athletic training, water is almost always all you need to stay hydrated. Plain water with a pinch of salt and a squeeze of lemon gives you electrolytes without the calories, if that is what you are after. 11. Avocado toast and avocados in general. Avocados are genuinely healthy. They are full of monounsaturated fats, potassium, fiber, and vitamins that support heart health, brain function, and skin health. Nobody should stop eating avocados because of this video. But avocados are also one of the most calorie-dense fruits that exist, and they became so trendy that people started adding them to everything without thinking about the caloric impact. A single medium avocado contains around 230 to 250 calories and about 21 grams of fat. That fat is healthy fat, yes, but the calories still count. Avocado toast became a cultural phenomenon, and a typical restaurant version comes on thick sourdough bread, loaded with a full avocado, topped with seeds, red pepper flakes, a poached egg, and sometimes crumbled cheese. By the time you eat it, you might have consumed 600 to 700 calories just from one piece of toast. At home, people often slice half an avocado onto their toast, add it to their salad, mix it into their smoothie, and then use it as a dip with chips, all in the same day, without tracking that they have consumed close to a full day's worth of healthy fat from avocados alone. The takeaway is not to avoid avocados. It is to enjoy them intentionally. A quarter to half an avocado per serving is plenty and gives you all the nutritional benefits without overloading on calories. 12. Plant-based and vegan processed foods. The plant-based food market has exploded over the last few years, and along with genuinely healthy options like whole legumes, vegetables, and grains, it has also produced an enormous range of heavily processed foods that carry a health halo simply because they do not contain meat. Plant-based burgers, vegan sausages, dairy-free cheeses, and meat-free nuggets are often made with refined ingredients, oils, starches, and sodium in amounts that rival or exceed their conventional counterparts. A popular plant-based burger patty, for example, can contain 260 to 290 calories, 18 to 20 grams of fat, and over 400 milligrams of sodium. That is before you add the bun, condiments, and sides. Vegan cookies, dairy-free ice cream, and plant-based protein bars frequently contain just as much sugar and just as many calories as the non-vegan versions they are meant to replace, sometimes more, because manufacturers add extra fat and sweetener to replicate the texture and flavor of the original. The word vegan or plant-based on a label tells you nothing about whether a food is good for your health or your weight. Whole plant foods, vegetables, fruits, legumes, whole grains are genuinely excellent for you. But plant-based junk food is still junk food, and eating it while thinking you are making a healthy choice is one of the most common traps people fall into today. Healthy eating isn't just about choosing foods with a good reputation. It's about understanding portions, ingredients, and overall balance. Once you know which healthy foods can become problematic in large amounts, you can make smarter choices that support your fitness goals. Which of these foods surprised you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more videos about nutrition, fitness, and building healthier habits.